is the North End. This is the North End.
Hi everyone and welcome to the North End. My name's Aizaz and here are the 5 things we learned today from Liverpool versus Everton at Anfield. So number 1, referees in the Premier League are abysmal. Stuart Atwell, whatever the opposite of take a bow is, please do that. Now look, referees are allowed to make mistakes. Footballers are allowed to make mistakes. People in the office are allowed to make mistakes. We are human. Referees are human, I think. They're allowed to make mistakes. But that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that man had no control of the game. And why that's actually pathetic is because from minute 1 to minute 90, there was a team who actually tried to take the piss. They were taking the mick out of Liverpool fans. They were taking the piss out of neutrals, if there even are any neutrals for this match. And they were just, in general, taking the mick. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with Everton's style of play today. I'll come on to that in the second point. But what Stuart Atwell has to realize is that this is exactly what they were going to do. I don't know if there was any preview show that went into depth into this game that didn't know what Everton were going to do. And Frank Lampard himself is a student of the Jose Mourinho Park the Bus masterclass. So at the end of the day, you had to know what Everton were going to do. And yet, on 45 minutes, this pathetic man puts up 2 minutes of injury time. Now, Jordan Pickford probably wasted double that alone, let alone all the other stuff, let alone Richarlison. It's just pathetic that you are actually going to put 2 minutes up and think that you've done your job. And you know what the funny thing would have been? Wasting time shouldn't be allowed, really, but I guess you can stretch the rules or the laws of the game and just about sneak it in. But what would be really funny is that if referees actually had a grip on the game, had control of the game, and actually if he had put like 5 or 6 minutes up, Everton probably would have looked around at each other and been like, well, that wasn't really worth it. And you could actually bring a stop to all the play acting and all the extra stuff that Everton were doing. And for that reason, this had to be my number 1 point. The referees in the Premier League are abysmal. All day, every day, whenever there's a game on, you're seeing bad decisions. And again, it's not really talking about the individual decisions all the time, although, yeah, eventually we could cut some of those out and make those better. But like, to not know the flow of the game and to not control the game, you're kind of like just not appropriate. And I don't know what the direct comparison or the analogy would be. Is it like a police person standing on a busy road and like not letting traffic like flow properly? Like, I don't know what, like, I've not thought this point out, but that's what Stuart Atwell was doing today. He was basically bowing to the way it shouldn't be. I don't know. I just feel like we have to take a long, hard look at the professionalism. And that's another reason why, this is probably a story for another time. That's another reason why I do feel over the years, English football has kind of suffered in big tournaments and in big matches because our refereeing is so bad and historically has been so bad that we almost do our national team a disservice, because when they actually get to a certain arena and there are better referees, we actually don't even know how to play that game. So anyway, referees, pathetic. Number 2, did everybody watch Atletico Madrid versus Manchester City a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, we're all football fans. Big Champions League quarterfinal. Everybody watched that, right? What was the media narrative after that game? Everybody was talking about the dark arts. Everybody was talking about Atletico Madrid as if they were classic 1980s, early 1990 heel wrestlers in the WWF going up against Hulk Hogan. So why is there no coverage like that about Frank Lampard today? And why is there no coverage about Everton like that today? So what you're saying to me is English teams are allowed to play in this negative, horrible, nasty way, and they get no criticism the whole way through. And yet, if we are watching Atletico Madrid play like that, or the whole time the English-speaking commentators are talking about how bad this is and about how anti-football is, I'm just going to leave that point right here, because this point actually plays into society. These are different rules for different people, and there are words that describe that. The way Everton played today, I hate it. I don't like it. But at the end of the day, I don't have any problem with them playing it if that was the best way for them to approach the game. And for 60 minutes, it was working, right? For 60 minutes, it was working. So you can't even knock it. But what I can knock is the treatment of it and the way it's being discussed. And Frank Lampard said something after the game about Mo Salah. And I think this all plays into each other. Now, I don't want to make this platform too political. This is a football podcast, but just want to make that point. Just think about the fact that how we are in the media narrative treating two different teams and two different managers who play or played a very similar style of football, but the narrative is completely different. There are words for that. Number 3, Mo Salah is the difference maker for Liverpool. In the week, Mo Salah scored 2 goals, and his most telling contribution was the first assist as he laid it across the goal for Diaz. And then today, Mo Salah once again made the difference. Now, if you go back to watch the goal, the first goal, Liverpool's goal scored by Andy Robertson, Mo Salah takes out 2 players with his first touch. He goes and collects his original ball off Divock Origi. He then takes out 8 players with his next touch, which is a right-footed cross to the back post. So Mo Salah today took out 8 players with 1 touch. The levels that this man is reaching or has reached are still underrated. They're still under-respected. He now has 35 goal contributions, and we are less than 1 week away from it being May, and Mohamed Salah is leading goals and assists in the Premier League. He's got 22 goals and he's got 13 assists. So that's 35 goal contributions. Mo Salah is the player of the season. And we didn't learn that today, but I just have to keep making this point that even in his form being not at its standards from, say, like September, October to December, Mo Salah continues to be the difference maker. And one thing I noticed about him today was in the first half, he was a bit isolated. And for once, he wasn't actually being double marked all the time. So that I found really interesting, because one of the things I've noticed about Mo over the years is I've always thought, not that it would be easy playing with him as a front player, but like if Mo's taking 2 players, how are people around him benefiting from that? What I noticed today was because Everton was so far back, Mo was too far wide. And I actually said to my friend sitting next to me, Mo needs to play closer to the goal. And then, the second half starts and he just puts this new impetus on. He wanted everything. He was chasing everything. He was harrying. He's obviously so strong and fast as well. So the physicality seemed to be back today. But then what he did for that first goal, I think everybody got swept up in the euphoria of what Andy Robertson did, and his Robbo as well, such a great servant for Liverpool, and he just really gets the club, and he's such a cop hero, and he's like celebrating in front of the cop. But actually go back and watch what Mo Salah did. It's genius. It's absolutely genius, and it's not the goal scoring variety, it's the playmaking variety. Once again, he took out 8 men with 1 touch of the football. Facts. Number 4, Divock Origi will go down as one of the biggest cult heroes of the Premier League era for any team. And we know that Divock Origi isn't on the level of Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota, and Diaz. But true story, he is joint second with Robbie Fowler on the most goals scored for Liverpool against Everton ever. And number 1 is Ian Rush. So Ian Rush is Liverpool's all-time goal scorer, and he's number one. Love the Derby goal. And joint second are Robbie Fowler and Divock Origi. Isn't that crazy? Like, you cannot tell me you knew that. He's always stepped up in these moments. He's got some great goals. He's got some crazy goals. And Everton also defined his career for Liverpool, because in Klopp's first season, which was also Divock's first season, Divock Origi was now at this point of the season number 9. He was leading the line. A lot of people, including myself, wanted more game time from Daniel Sturridge, but Daniel Sturridge's body just wasn't cooperating. Origi was a great number 9. He was leading the line, and Everton's Funes Mori actually almost crippled him and ended his season and just completely took the train off the tracks, in a way, of Divock Origi's career. Who knows what would have happened? So the fact that he's always saved a little bit for Everton for the rest of his Liverpool career is something really sweet. We're all resigned at this point to losing him. I don't want to lose him. I feel that he's the best 5th, 6th, 7th striker in the world. I don't even know if that's a contest, to be honest with you. What a man to bring off the bench. He already gave us a huge Divock moment early in the year with an injury time goal against away to Wolves, and that's when Wolves were watertight at the back. And then today, Origi pulls up and just confirms the win. So, I have to say, I'm going to be really sad when Origi leaves, and I could not put him into this. What this point is called, listen, I'm sending this in, and I'm just calling it Divock Origi. That's what we learned, Divock Origi. He's a subject. And then the last thing, number 5, I think the first half and even the first 60 minutes showed that why this title race is not over either way. And I'm not saying Liverpool are going to win it. Manchester City remain favourites. There's 15 points each to play for. Both have 2 home games and 3 away games left. But what I want to say on this is, what we learned today is that if you actually show up against Manchester City and Liverpool and actually have, here's that word again, gravitas, if you actually show up with a game plan and will to win, you can actually frustrate these 2 teams. You can actually take points off these teams. What you can't do is what Watford did yesterday, or what Man United did against us. This isn't just against Manchester City. So why this point is important is because there are 5 games left to play for. And if just one team decides to show up, not for 45 minutes or 60 minutes or 70 minutes, if one team shows up for 90 minutes, an opposition team against Manchester City or Liverpool, they can have a huge say in where the title's going. And again, I think as football fans, we all knew that, but today just proved that again. It was really nervy and it wasn't looking good for all the possession. There was a point where, we had 80-something% possession, but 0 shots on goal. So today was not a foregone conclusion. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to play these kind of intense matches just because it's a derby. Next week, Leeds, who are also now fighting for their life, have to play a certain kind of way. And I wouldn't be surprised if they saw this game here and were like, well, we can do that against Manchester City. And Newcastle might do it against us, or somebody else might do it against us as well. So, point number 5 might be wishful thinking on my part. But what I saw today is when a Premier League team sets up properly and is looking to frustrate someone, even without all the dark arts, they can do that. There are still 11 professional footballers trying to stop you from scoring. Title race ain't over. Anyway, to sum this up, what a day, another great day. Liverpool roll on to Villarreal in the Champions League on Wednesday. Obviously, there's a few huge games in the Premier League coming again. Stay locked to the North End. We're bringing it live to you. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. You can also follow me at The Cultures. That's mainly on Instagram. So please follow me as well. And I'd love to interact with you all as well. And just let me know what you think. If you've got anything to say, if you don't agree with anything or what have you, please comment up below. And yeah, here's to more of this for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. All the best. Bye.
This is the North End. This is the North End.